And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Market Forecast. Today is Wednesday, 29th of September. Hard to believe Friday is going to be October already. If you're in the markets, hopefully things are going well for you. As always, we're going to be looking for context, risk management, and infinite patience. We've got some economic numbers due out today, 9 o'clock, pending home sales due out. 9:30, the EIA Petroleum Status Report due out. 10:45, Chairman Powell speaks. There's several talking Feds today, so just one more thing to keep an eye on for us. U.S. stocks are kind of in recovery mode, or at least attempting to be in recovery mode after the worst day in months, a downside rout that really started on Monday. Chairman Powell is meeting today with some of his counterparts from the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, and the ECB, political wrangling about the debt ceiling. It continues in Washington. It's almost like watching a soap opera. And a little bit of a relief break in crude prices yesterday after the API announces the first rise in crude inventories in weeks. They announced a 4.1 billion barrel increase. Million barrel increase. If I said billion, sorry. It's a 4.1 million barrel increase in crude stocks. The EIA is expecting a draw of 1.6 million barrels. Yesterday, the API was looking at a 2.3 million barrel draw. So the first increase announced by the API. We'll see what the EIA has to say today. We have a little bit of a relief break in the natural gas yesterday too. So far that I've seen, it's holding weekly kickoff high as support. We'll see that in the charts shortly. As always, please make sure you hit the lucky like button. Share, comment, question, feedback, and heckling are always welcome. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notification when we do go live. Speaking of which, tomorrow at 3 o'clock, another interview and question and answer session with our founder and CVO, Michael Patak. Dan and Mike are going to be talking tomorrow at 3 o'clock right here on our YouTube channel here. So you got questions, go and talk to the boss. Taking a look at the VIX, the dollar index, and the 10-year yield this morning. VIX had quite the rally yesterday. It's off about 3% last time I checked, down to 22.57. Still a little bit of fear in the marketplace. The dollar index, 93.96, holding pretty strong. A little up a little bit this morning, and the 10-year yield off a little bit, but pretty much holding steady right around that 1.5% level. So rates have kind of leveled off. We're seeing that in the 10-year as well as the other treasuries, and we're going to take a look at those shortly. As always, I got to say good morning to everyone. Eddie Silva, first in the room. You win the prize. Rob T. Janusa, Eddie beat you today. It's all right. Good morning to you. Theodora. Theo, good to see you. Good morning. Daniel, Brett, blew up another combine yesterday, but went on to make money in my personal account. I'm glad about that. Psychology is definitely different when I'm trading my own compared to the trading combine. I feel it. Well, Brett, you've got skin in the game in both. We're looking forward to seeing your success in your personal account, of course, and also here at Top Step. Drew, good morning. Adrian. Hey, the infamous Felix Escobar is here. I haven't seen you for a while, Felix. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. Bill, Frederico, Cam, Steve Lee, Charles March, Zorain, good morning. George, Nico, Vince, good morning. Laura, good morning. George. Steve, Nelson, Benitez. Almost in that situation, Brett. Well, just take your time. Size back if you're trading large, and try and pull that out. Dead letter opener. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Robert. Good morning to you as well, Stephen, Murph. Good morning. Some questions, some thoughts about what are we thinking about the new rules in the combine, and a great place to go get your questions answered is tomorrow, the Q&A with the boss. Good morning, everyone. Spencer agrees with it. His 3,500 morning yesterday, probably trading that gas, I would think, has has him wondering if that would have taken him out yesterday, but he certainly agrees with it. Now, these new rules are only for new accounts. They're not going to affect anybody that's currently in a combine account. Jason, good morning, Andre. Justin, good morning. Expediter Dean. There's a name I don't think I've seen before. Welcome if this is your first trip, and thanks for saying hello. Dead letter opener. Hasn't passed a step after 9 months, hoping it will help, but might be another hindrance. Well, that's not really what it's there for. We're not trying to hinder. We're trying to encourage consistency. Trading Research, good morning. Chris? NM, you ate chips yesterday. Your tummy's hurting. Yep. Mert, good morning. A couple of new names here. Harry, good morning. Lemuel, good morning. Beetlejuice, I'm only going to say that once. Eddie Silva. Ophelia, good morning. Charles, Dr. VJ, good morning. Felix was connected for a couple months, but back in the game. Well, we're glad you're back, Felix. We are looking again for your support and for your success. Mert, Angelina, Justin, Jerry is awake. Hopefully John is too. And good morning, everyone. Alad. So some new folks here. Good to see everybody. KM, good morning. Discipline is key. Still looking for it. Yeah. It's something we have to do every day. We have to do our work. We have to be thinking about, what are the things that we're going to be doing that are in our best interest. I sometimes feel that if I say that to myself before I do something, it helps me with the discipline a lot to avoid secondary and impulse trades. Greetings from Turkish Airlines. Wow, Mert. All right. Today, Future 401. Part 2 of the introduction to market profiles. We're going to be looking at some of the day types and what some of those day types can mean. We also have group coaching today, so it's going to be from 12:30 till 1. We're going to be doing Future 401. Then from 1 o'clock until 2 o'clock, we'll be doing group coaching. Those are the links for registration. I've got some really good questions already emailed in for group coaching today. Hopefully they're going to help everybody, as always. So the busy day today, Wednesday, I've got something interesting to show everybody on the Crude chart. For those of you that are interested in watching the opening range, there is a tool, a Tiki tool that will show you the opening range. I've got it up here on the 1 minute chart, but at least there's something there that's going to be able to represent that first minute of trade. I'll show that to you very shortly, but as always, we're going to start with the daily in Crude, and we're going to get into the charts here right now. All right, so this is the daily in Crude. Looks pretty far away right now. Let's make sure we can see what the heck we're looking at. All right. So off these lows, we've been seeing some continuation. We have what is a sort of a head and shoulders. It's not really a reversal pattern because we should be coming down to it, but it seems to be kind of looking at its potential target here. This line is the measurement from the neckline to the bottom of the head, and then from the neck break of the neckline is the measurement, and it looks like it actually almost achieved that yesterday. We got pretty close to weekly kickoff high. We're on a relief break after trying to reach that level yesterday in extended trading hours. We saw a pretty good boost in volume and a boost in open interest. It seems as though this level up here has attracted some new selling. So when we get to these weekly kickoff levels, what are they for? They're levels that I calculate where I'm making a hypothesis that longer, stronger traders are going to need to or want to adjust inventory. If we got up there yesterday and we couldn't get there, we added 4,600 in open interest on high volume off the high. It tells me there is some interest in selling this market up here. Seems unusual, but we've had a pretty decent run to the upside. We're always looking for the pullbacks. Does this break market state? Not yet. We've got to get to weekly kickoff low before we truly break market state. It's just going to make things a little bit more, I think, peaceful for us, especially because we're opening inside range and value. Look at what we have here. We have yesterday's range was overlapping to higher but lower overall. We took a stab at that weekly kickoff high and failed. Here's the 30-minute chart opening now. So we have settlement up here, 75.26 even. Here's our push to the downside. We're opening in range and in value. That's going to tell me, all right, maybe there's a little bit of a rest here. Maybe we're gonna range a little bit. Where are our opportunities? I'm going to probably be waiting for the initial balance, that first hour, to establish itself before really getting into anything. We have some overnight shorts. There's been some consolidation here that might be enough to reconcile those back inside value for a period of time here. We know we got the 9:30 EIA release. Patience. The EIA is expecting a draw of 1.6 million barrels. Yesterday, the API was expecting a 2.3 million barrel draw, and it came out a positive, a boost of 4.1 million barrels. So we don't know what's going to happen. Patience, opening range. I want to show you this. So this is a 1-minute chart. Now, this is the opening range. So you can see it visually on the 1-minute chart. We opened, we left the opening range at the low. We tried to push back up towards settlement. Now we're back in the opening range. This is a kind of a cool tool. I haven't seen it work on a 30-minute chart, but if you just keep a 1-minute chart, you can always minimize it. Now you know visually where the opening range is. It even gives you the halfway mark of the opening range. You'll find that here. Explore community indicators. Scroll down till you see Tiki opening range. Install it, and then you're going to be able to choose the time that you want for your opening range. 8 o'clock, I have 1 minute. You can change the colors of the lines. You can thicken them up, which is what I did. And then just save it, and then you've got this on your 1-minute chart. So you know visually where the opening range is. Many of you might be thinking that this is something that you're not interested in, but the opening range sometimes can be really useful for directional moves. I'm not thinking about the opening range today because we opened in range and value and it's EIA day. But when we open outside of the current session of yesterday's session, I should say, the previous day's session, sometimes the opening range can give you a really good opportunity right off the open. Take a look now into the E-mini S&Ps. We always have big volume on down days. It wasn't actually all that impressive. We added 22,000 in open interest. Does that mean we have some longer time frame sellers accumulating shorts here? It very well might. That increase in open interest off recent highs, money might be coming in shorts. But remember, this market and the equity markets tend to eat shorts if there's no bad news, and there's plenty out there that could end up being bad news for us. Everybody I think is on pins and needles here because of the uncertainties politically and economically. So the weekly kickoff, 45.55, the weekly kickoff low is certainly going to be pivotal today. The point of control from yesterday is on or very close to this important inflection level. So instead of finding direction away from it, we've found comfort at it. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, we have some overnight longs. Settlement is down here, 43.50. Put that on your charts. Pretty close to it in the overnight session. We have our route to the downside yesterday, which really started kind of on Monday. The breakout was night before last. We have, let me make this big. So we had a pretty good pullback off that low yesterday. This pullback high could be influential for us today. Let's just say I'm going to watch if the market brings us back up to this level. The afternoon pullback high can be an interesting spot for us. So we're going to be opening in range and in value. If we look, here's the point of control right down here. So it's within about 10 points of it. What about on the TPO chart? Okay, here's the point of control for the TPO chart. It's within 1 point of weekly kickoff low. This is a very comfortable level. This is an area that it was revisited many, many times yesterday. It's going to be somewhat, again, pivotal for us today. It may be magnetic, it may be pivotal. It's going to be a tough trading day. Again, opening in value at the point of control, the TPO point of control. Volume point of control is a little bit lower. In range at an important inflection level. What are the longer time frame traders going to do? Are we going to stay accepting in value from yesterday, or are we going to reject value and go either higher or continue to the downside? The open interest in the volume yesterday was pretty strong to the downside. Nasdaq. My longs got eaten yesterday. Yikes. All right. Well, maybe today will be a better day. The Nasdaq. So yesterday, in the overnight, we really kind of broke out below weekly kickoff low. A perceived, perhaps, bear flag also broke to the downside. We traded down and closed below last week's low and below this area of balance. Last week's low in this area of balance are going to be somewhat critical for us to be able to accept back inside or to reject this area of balance and last week's low. The volume and open interest, we added 8,000 in open interest yesterday on that breakout below weekly kickoff low. Pretty decent volume, a little bit better, I think, than in the S&Ps. The auction to the downside is appearing healthy. Last week's low, again, pivotal, low of the previous balance, reject or accept. 30-minute chart. All right. So here's our breakout yesterday. Here's our inability to close the gap or trade back to the point of control from the previous day, indicating sellers in the marketplace, longer time frame sellers. The addition and open increase, yes, that says that the market is more likely healthy to the downside than aging on this move to the downside. We also have, again, this afternoon pullback high, 14,874 approximately, might be an interesting area for us to look for opportunities today. But again, the market is it was a little bit long overnight. The market is already reconciling that. Settlement is all the way down here at 14,764. And we're going to be basically look at where point of control is from yesterday in the Nasdaq. It's the last week's low. So again, we're finding comfort where we can find it at important inflection levels. This will be somewhat pivotal for us today. Inside range, inside value. I'm going to try and stay patient. I'm going to wait perhaps for the initial balance, that first hour of trade, to give me some idea of structure or extremes, and I'll probably be working those extremes today if I'm looking at the Nasdaq. Gold. Gold's been a particular sticky wicket, if you will. We've got a head and shoulders here, but the market didn't come up to it. It came down to it. The termination of it would be weekly kickoff low, 1722. Volume was pretty good. Open interest was lower on this move to the downside. So pretty decent volume, but more like long liquidation coming off here, because the market traded from high to low throughout the entire session. Is the auction tiring? Is the beginning of my question. Open interest on the continuation of the downside should be building. It is falling off. Okay, overall. It's been dropping for a couple of weeks. There's days where there is an increase in open interest, but we've been losing open interest all the way down here. Is that healthy for the auction process? It's what makes me think that this medium time frame move to the downside might be getting a little bit tired. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. So again, we have settlement right here, 1737.50. We started, we ended the day lower than settlement. There was a pretty good difference there. If we're going to be looking at overnight inventory, we're going to start where last night started. We've been all buyers until we weren't. We got too long and short time frame here. The market has taken price back to settlement, back to last week's low, back inside value. Try and stay patient today. Try and stay patient. These markets have expended a lot of energy, and today and tomorrow there's possibly some very serious things coming out. The debt ceiling, are they going to be voting on? Are we going to be working on that? Are we going to be working on, the spending packages? Are they going to pass? Are they not going to pass? Are they going to hold off on the vote for them? All of those things are in question. So we've got, a certain amount of headline risks that we're facing. On the title for this morning's forecast, many uncertainties exist. Manage risk. That is our real job. To the euro. Volume and open interest strong to the downside yesterday. We've seen some volume increasing since we started heading towards weekly kickoff low. We broke out and closed below weekly kickoff low. Settlement 1.1694.5 ticks. The market seems to be holding healthy. We added 5,700 in open interest yesterday. We had higher volume over the last 3 sessions. This breakout to the downside should have legs to it. If we're not in it, it's okay to miss it. Just be patient. Look for opportunities as the day goes on. But I'm looking to sell strength in this market. Any pullbacks towards last week's low, weekly kickoff low, anything that I see in the profiles, I'm going to be trying to stay patient and waiting for pullbacks so that I can try and get into a continuation to the downside, because there is a pretty high probability of that. 30-minute chart. So there's settlement again. 116.94.5 ticks. The market really just kind of closing, staying in value. At some point when the London session opened, we found sellers in here, and those sellers have yet relented in what they're doing. We've got our overnight low right here, and the one thing that sticks out to me right here, looking at this very chart, we're seeing delta increasing. So that's saying that there's more contracts being filled on the offer than on the bid. The more aggressive traders are buyers. who are the sellers that are continuing to push price lower, particularly in the London session? Look at the positive delta against direction. That's an indication of possible longer time frame participation, even in the overnight session. The euro is one of those products that you got to watch. You got to look at the volume last night. Volume was pretty good last night. Some European sellers, longer time frame sellers, may be in this market. And if that's the case, I don't want to fight them, because they're going to end up getting the short time frame traders so long that eventually they're going to capitulate, and we could possibly end up with a late spike to the downside, which would be cool because it would give us some reference and opportunity tomorrow. The 10-year volume and open interest is good for continuing downside participation. We added 222,000 estimated in open interest on high volume on a breakout below a weekly kickoff. Well, rates have settled. We have an inside day. The market has expended a lot of energy lately. The market may just fall into hangover, as Dan likes to call it. The market may be in a hangover, may just be chilling here for a little while. Here's the 30-minute chart. So look at where point of control is. Weekly kickoff low. Actually, weekly kickoff low is here. No. 17. My bad. Yep, that's weekly kickoff low. So instead of finding continuation or rejection, yesterday it became a comfortable level. We've got a lot of unfinished business above, which is a little bit disturbing for shorts. We're holding above weekly kickoff low here. This gives us another opportunity to use that level to limit risk. But again, I'm going to try and stay patient. We had some overnight longs starting to unravel, if you will, or reconcile. If they can reconcile this market a little bit lower, I might be interested in an execution. Now I'm always doing that. The daily and the nat gas. So we had the overnight kind of finding support at weekly kickoff high, which was $5 and basically 69 cents. We had some profit taking off this high yesterday. This was a swing high from back in 2014 up there at $66.40. Finally, we're getting a little bit of profit taking. Those relief moves are pretty vicious. It was a pretty vicious move to the downside yesterday. We had weekly kickoff high as support here. We lost 8,200 in open interest on high volume. Okay, this is still kind of rollover related, but I think that 8,200 was some profit taking off that high. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. And so you can see that once we couldn't take out the previous high here, we had some pretty big sellers coming in. We had a lot of overnight longs here. Well, look what the overnight longs did. They took market right back to settlement, right back to an important inflection level where we found support. We were kind of flopping around here. We'd had some support. We're now down below that support level. We had opened outside of range and value from 2 days ago, outside value from today. I'm looking at the value low here from yesterday as somewhat of an important level. Now, looking at what we have down below us, there's a bunch of naked points of control. There's a gap down below us. There's a whole lot of visuals for us to go and recheck if that is the case. So weekly kickoff low, somewhat pivotal, was supportive, was resistant, was supportive. Now is it going to be resistant again? So, all right, we've been going a little bit long here. Equities are opening right now, and I do apologize. I don't have the. I guess I don't have the chance really to go through the comments and the questions here if there were anything for me. But we are looking forward to another good trading day, another 401 session, another group coaching session. It's going to be a challenging group coaching session today. Please join us. And then don't forget about the Q&A with the boss tomorrow, 3 o'clock on YouTube. Other than that, I'll see you later on this afternoon. Right now, I'll see you in the pit in about 1 minute. I'm a little bit late. They started without me. Hopefully they didn't start without you. Trade well today. Get out there and profit. See you in the pit in a minute.